Hi everybody and welcome to another cozy mini review. Sorry my shelves are a bit lacking in decor because we've started the move. So anyway, we're going to talk about City in the Dragon's Eye by Jordan Loyle Short. This is an indie book. It is one of the SPIFBO non-finalists. So if you're doing Herkid, you can read this book for that. And the little boy has come to give me a pirate raccoon. Or just to show me that he has it in his mouth. Okay. This book is a somewhat historical fantasy. It's like adjacent. It's not actual history, but it is like a mirror of a world war per se. And sorry, I'm going to be playing fetch apparently during this because he was sleeping, but as soon as we start filming, it's playtime. That's how living with a puppy works. Can we choose a quieter toy? Can we have a quiet time? This is supposed to be cozy. This is supposed to be a cozy review. Anyway, so we start off with one character. There are 3 POVs, and I do think part of the downfall of this book for me, it's not bad, but this is a gripe I have, is the summary of the book only tells you about one character's story. So I thought we were going to have a solo POV book about Victor, who has just returned from the war he has lost. And he is now also cursed with dragon scale, which is a, what do they call it? Something no, not parthenogenesis. Arcanogenesis, which is a magical cancer, basically, where his skin is now growing dragon scales, and it's like tumor. Oh, he's called a tumorling, and now he is just shunned by everyone, and he winds up with this very sketchy doctor who says he can cure him, but he is a sham and is actually actively trying to do something else, but he needs tumorlings to do that. All the while, we have these 2 other POVs. And I personally don't think these POVs were necessary to the story. I much would have rather liked to stick with Victor through the whole journey, because we stick with him for so long and then all of a sudden there's a new POV and I have no idea where this connects. And it takes a long time for them to connect. And I don't think they connected cohesively, in my opinion. We have the character of Devon, who is the son of a lord. He is a bad thief, and he's kind of like the disgrace of his father, who disowns him. And now he's in a bind because he was going to, scam a bunch of people out of their money, and that falls through. And now he's in danger, and his lover is also in danger. And his lover ends up being hurt and kidnapped by the people that he now owes a lot of money to, and he needs to perform a job of stealing his father's piece of the quorum, which is like a shard of something. And it's really hard for me to see anyone use a magic shard and not think they're stealing from Stormlight Archives. I don't know if that's what it is, but every time I see anything reminiscent of a shard blade, I'm like, where'd you get that idea? But it's fine. It's probably not, but that's where my brain goes. And he is just, this disaster character trying to save this other man, this lover. And I don't actually believe their romance at all. I mean, it's not even really a romance. It's like more like they're hookup buddies, I guess. And when things go downhill really badly, no spoilers, but there was no grief. There was nothing. It didn't feel like that position of danger for their friend was motivating enough for him. It wasn't in his forefront of his thoughts. He was a very selfish character, and when everything gets topsy-turvy, it doesn't seem like that is actually affecting him. So I don't even know if we needed that storyline because it clearly didn't affect that character. Then the third POV we have is Isola. Now, Isola is an associate professor. She wants to get tenure, but her ex-husband is hijacking everything. And this man is awful. He's an abuser. He turned her own daughter against her. He's just absolute garbage man. He gets her evicted. He ruins her tenure. He is just a nightmare man. He's a nightmare man. And she's really struggling through all of this. Now, Isola is said to be probably in her 40s, I think. She has a grown daughter. And this is where it was weird because I don't know how old Victor is, but they kind of have a weird romance that also I don't think it needed to be there. She remarks on how fit he is and oh, he's too young for me kind of a thing. but that doesn't stop them anyway. But I also, again, didn't feel any chemistry there. Not that it was at the forefront of the book at all. The book is very much about the plot that the evil guys are trying to do with the Tumorlings and the Dragon Well and all these different things. So I just didn't think this story was as cohesive as it could have been. I reminisce it as, like, even when you look at the cover style, it looks like one of those early 90s fantasy adventure movies. And that was the vibe I was hoping, because I like those types of movies and things. Like, it was giving the vibe of, like, Big Trouble in Little China and stuff like that, or Romancing the Stone kind of thing. And I was vibing with that cover, and I vibed in the beginning a lot with Victor's story. And if we had just stuck with him, I think this would have got a lot higher rating from me than putting in the Devon storyline, especially. Like, I get having Isola. Isola is much more connected than Devon is to this story, even though he is connected because of the quorum and stuff. But I would have been fine with Devon as, like, a side character rather than a forefront POV. That's just my vibe of it. It may work for other people. For me, it was hard to connect everything and believe the cohesivity. There's also a weird situation where we have a very kind of almost racist attitude towards dwarves. And one of the other doctors who helps Victor is also a dwarf, but they make, like, jabs at him for his height. And it's kind of like, okay, witty banter between them. But I feel like this is a character that, like, someone just really wants Peter Dinklage to play. And I don't know if enough care was put into the dwarf character. And also with what happens with that dwarf character, I'm like, I don't know if I like that. So it was a little weird. We do leave off on a little cliffhanger, dealing with Isola going off to see her daughter, who's also involved in everything, but her daughter won't speak to her because her father turned her against her. So there is a bit of a cliffhanger, but the second book is out. If you do enjoy this and want to continue on, fear not, it's out. But yeah, I didn't fully vibe with this. I gave it 3 stars because I didn't have, like, horrendous things that I hated, but I also had things that I'm like, oh, this could have been better. I had things I did enjoy. There was a lot of good moments that I really, related to Isola and her struggles as a woman in a male-dominated profession, like that. Like, you can relate with her that way, and I think that was done very well. I really liked Victor's story, and, like, his entire arc was very, very good. I just needed a bit more. We needed a bit more from this. So anyway, that is my review of City in the Dragon's Eye by Jordan Loyal Short. I believe it is also on KU, so if you want to grab a copy, go do so now. And I will see you next time, cuties. Bye.